This is my name J.N.S. and today we are commencing the Queen Mothership series. We are actually on the last chapter of the book of the Enterprise Architecture, Queen Mothership, which was a guide to rebuilding Black America. It's a little, it's not even a little, it's way ahead of its time in terms of actualizing the vision. But nonetheless, I wrote it in January of 2023, or rather, I published it in January of 2023. And it's something that I thought of intensely in terms of like how can we galvanize our own intentional communities, and how can we um, build up not only just an intentional community, because that's pretty common, but kind of social standards, what kind of values, tenets, how we interact with one another, the very activities that we engage in, the ways in which men and women engage, the way we treat our children, our governance systems. How do we structure out governance? How do we structure out alternative parallel economies and alternative systems to the ones that we are oppressed by? And so this was something that I divined, so it's a culminating series, and we end with chapter 20. And to be honest, I'm kind of ready to pivot a bit. Again, I finished strong with my visions of the things I want to get out to the public in terms of messaging, so I finished strong. However, I would say that in the background, the back scenes of what you guys may not know about, just me writing something like this and publishing something like this and then going to YouTube to get the message out. I don't think you guys realize how, like, on behind the scenes, how threatening that was to the power structure in terms of the things I've been dealing with. And so that is where I'm at. It's like, whoa, like I didn't know. With me, I'm just thinking, like, oh, this is the Queen Mothership. This is the Queen Mothership. But those who are in the know, when they see somebody just coming out with those type of things, the material I've been coming out with for 3 years, it's kind of prophetic in a sense. If for those who really are into the know of esoteric knowledge, and I myself was not aware of the nature of the gravity of what I was producing, and of course the public, and of course the average Black American or average person, for that matter, would not be aware. But I myself was not aware of the gravity of in terms of power structures, in terms of how much it would be looked at as, oh, we have to shut this down, or we can't have this getting out, we can't have people paying attention to that, because I am not in that system, in terms of like I'm not controlled, and so I'm gonna just keep it a buck with you, Black Americans. You guys know, and it's not just me. I'm not trying to toot my horn or anything, but it's like, what the COINTELPRO, messaging was. The final goal was to prevent this idea of a quote unquote Messiah. Now, obviously, that didn't mean Messiah in the sense of the biblical terms, but it meant more so like someone that can galvanize Americans, someone who can organize them, someone who they would listen to, someone who they would at least respect, and so they these algorithms, these intelligence agencies, these databases, these data analytics, they monitor all of us, in terms of like, okay, well, what's building steam here, or what is a threat here, or what is people actually moving towards, and the grassroots was kind of buying out of the matrix in pretty large numbers, but and so they have to get in front of that. And so in my particular case, and it's not just me, it's a lot of others, going through this as well. Before it even gets steam, it's like, crush it before it can even grow some legs. And so, and unfortunately, a lot of Black Americans, a lot of Black Americans are in survival mode. And so, if someone comes to them and say, hey, I need you to get rid of this person, sacrifice this person, or let's make a deal, or I will do this if you shut this person down or you ignore this person. And even though that person literally was sent to get something out. Many Black Americans will sign up for it. Many Black Americans have. I am actually aware that many Black Americans have taken such a deal in the spaces in which many of you think are so conscious. Will you be, particularly the conscious community in the reparations space and these niggas that you think is pro-Black and Black power and all that. Y'all wake up one day. I try to wake it up. Y'all niggas gonna wake up one day, and I think I'm the one that's on the outs. I think everybody else was in on it. I think all of y'all is sold out Satan worshipers, and I'm the one that was just naive, thinking that we all was really about reparations and about getting getting justice for our people, making sure that we get things done for our people. I think I'm the one that is the one that was really the deer in the fucking headlights, in terms of not understanding what that even is about, in terms of these spaces, the reparation space and the conscious community space. And I think on one level, I knew it was fuckery in these spaces, because it's fuckery in every space, right? It's fuckery in every movement, organization. You got some bullshit. And so, the American Indians or the Black Indigenous, they try to wake it up into what was going on. First, the American Indians, which they are Black Americans, but they don't like the term Black. They tried to wake that up, I want to say 2 years ago. And people thought they were hating. People thought they was, we were really upset. We're like, and even though I obviously have indigenous leanings and background, I kind of was, it kind of turned me off too, seeing them talk about the reparations so harshly, like, oh God, you ain't getting reparations, and we were like, no, because we just was, to me, I have to say, it seemed like I was just brainwashed by the reparations rhetoric. And so they were trying to wake that up. And then the Black Indigenous was trying to call out the things that was going on in the space in Cali, in the reparation space in California, and how and I did a lot of calling that out too, because at that point I was like, oh no, this is a train wreck, And so I saw things that really, elucidated to me that motherfuckers was selling out. They were selling the Black Americans out, selling the lineage out. There was some gatekeepers, it was boule shit. It was just, you could just tell that it was a co-opted movement, political movement. And so, I assessed it from a high level, gave as many suggestions as I could, pointed out as many things as I could. And we saw the outcome of that. We saw people trying to backtrack away from certain people. We see, ADOS calling shit out. ADOS have been trying to wake that up, and then ADOS get called haters and whatnot. But they should have made an alliance with the indigenous. If you ask me, they would have popped off a little bit more in terms of their critique. And then now you have this Freedman. Now you have the Freedmans up in shambles over this gay. Was it gay Permonte shit? Some Italian man that was running for alderman in the reparations space, who was calling himself a Freedman and stuff like that, was able to infiltrate the Freedman movement as a white man and kind of be looked to as the face, one of the faces of the Freedmen. And when many Black Americans from all walks of life called it out, screamed to the rooftop that this should not be happening, what are y'all doing? The Freedmans defended him tooth and nail. They attacked regular Black Americans for this Italian. And he, from what I understand, he has some connections to Kennedy. He has some connections to this the lady that this presidential candidate that's running for, that also had that $2 billion, I think it was a $2 trillion reparations packet, or $2 billion or something like of that nature. But that white lady, and so again, another weird orchestrated psyop, as you will, to get Black Americans like, oh, okay. And y'all really want me to give my opinion on that shit, because we know who brought him around, and I think they set that man up. The one that's running for Congress, and I don't want to be all messy and shit, because people throw subliminal shots and whatnot at me, and what it is, what it is. And a lot of niggas are silent now because what they were supposed to do didn't play. to me, for me, waking up some stuff, and so I guess they going back to still trying, always they're always trying to figure out a way to get at me in the occult realm. This is occult shit. Yeah, believe it or not, it's more deeper than what you will ever imagine. Um, but as far as the person that brought Gabe Permonte around on Twitter as a candidate to vote for, to get Black Americans to vote for as a freedman, we all know who that was. He went on a dummy mission. I think he was in over his head with the people he got involved with, and they sent him out there to bring that man around us, because at the time he was looked at as grassroots. He was looked at as fresh, new perspective, unafraid to just talk his shit, and say what he had to say. He ran for Congress, another Congress, against Jim Clyburn, the power broker Jim Clyburn, by the way. Oh gosh, and again, this is about bloodline. This is about old ties to orders, and so I don't think he realized how in over he was over his head, and he was a protest candidate. I want that to be very clear. I was just saying, Marcel Dixon, he was always a protest candidate, and so that was the role that them freedmen, or that even those that's running this whole thing, the black gatekeepers, that was the role they had for him, pretty much. And so they liked that he had the ear of the average Black American, the grassroots Black American, Black indigenous, freedmen, ADOS. That was perfect. FBA, perfect. So they sent him out to go bring that Gabe dude around, and that was the nail in his coffin. And I feel like they set him up. It was a setup, just like that Fox News interview. And again, when you're not around genuine people who care about your best interests, or around people that's really not trying to take from you, trying to get you in some deals, trying to get you hung up in something, then it's easy to set your ass up. And I honestly think that's what happened to me, because after that happened, some of them FBAs was looking at him sideways, some of the ADOS was looking at him sideways. The Black indigenous totally went crazy. I won't say crazy, but they totally went bonkers, waking that up. They were upset about that, because they felt played. They felt like, okay, we thought you was one for us, and and that's when everything popped off, and it put a glitch in his armor. From the outside looking in. Again, I'm not attached to none of this shit, not anymore. Not from what I went through, and not from what I've seen that these because I've been around this shit for 3 years, and I can tell you now that this is not a space where somebody had warned me. Actually, two people had warned me. I want to say two people. Another person, one person had said, sorry, phone call, Black man. And he said to get out of that. He told me 3 years ago when we were in like this private group, and I was the one. It was nothing but a bunch of kind of, I won't say boule. They weren't boule, but they were the upper echelon blacks with very powerful connections, and we were all in this private group. And I was the only one that did not have those connections, that did not have that come from that background, that didn't, you know what I mean? And then a lot of them was in secret societies, and I just was the only one in there thinking that, okay, we talking about reparations, we talking about, Black Americans. And I had got suspicious, because it was just, it just felt, I kind of felt like, okay, am I in a psyop? Am I being programmed to, go a certain way? It just kind of gave me them vibes a little bit. So I started asking questions to certain people, especially after this Black man called me and really had told me what it was about. Like, they trying to get you to sign on the dotted line, nigga. And I just was like, what are you talking about? And, another Black man, I had a phone call with him, and he straight up told me what it was. He straight up told me. And I don't even know how to, express that, because I think a lot of you Black Americans know. I think that y'all probably know more than me in terms of what it was all about. And he said it was straight up satanic. And that was his words. And this dude was very well connected into politics. Had worked on a campaign with, I want to say Trump. Had worked in just do a lot of shit with the politics stuff, I forgot what else he does. He does PACs. He and so we were talking, and I just was like, oh, okay. He was saying, you want to get out of that, don't trust me. And he was saying how some of them people was connected and saying all that shit. It was something else, and so and so I did actually leave that group, but still kept in contact with some of the people, because some of the people I thought was genuine, and I was just like, well, not everybody is. And it kind of, when he had warned me about that, it kind of went in one ear and out the other. It stuck with me, but at the same time, I was just thinking, like, you never know, because I felt like he had some jealousy issues towards a particular person in the group, so I felt like I couldn't even trust that, because the jealousy was blinding his particular perspective, and so I didn't take it to heart. But now, obviously, looking back, 3 years in, I'm like, whoa, like, what the hell? And so, as far as my reflection on that period, and I'll get to chapter 20, I will get to chapter 20. Chapter 20 is message to black men, so you don't be talking my shit, and don't worry, black men, you're not going to be getting bashed or, beaten over the head. It's a nice chapter, and then I got another message for you, for very particular black men, that is. And so, that if you're wondering, okay, why you're not really in the reparations spaces no more, like why you was really big on that, what happened? What happened is, I see a play of the likes that I know things. I have actually been approached to sell you niggas out, to barter the souls of black Americans, just like the rest of the bootleg niggas is doing. And so I walked away. I just was like, I couldn't believe what I was hearing, because I thought that person was really for black Americans. This was a very powerful, connected person. And a person in the reparation space introduced me to that. So that's why I'm not in the reparation space no more. A person that y'all look up to, that y'all swear is all into reparations, literally tried to get me to sell y'all niggas out, so that my message could switch up, and that I won't be writing in radical ass books that I be writing, talking about the esoteric spiritual knowledge, giving that galactic information, galactic intermentalism that I've given you. So now it's just a shadow ban and ignore the person, because I didn't take, that type of offer. But it was, I'm thinking like, this is for black Americans, we all, and it was like, look, this is what we do, we don't care about that. We really don't even give a fuck about that, to be honest. It's about profit. And that's what it was told. That's what was laid out on the table to me. And I just was like, damn, and I still ain't really naming no names, you know what I mean? It's like, y'all niggas is so, and I'm like, did y'all always know that? Y'all always knew, and I'm the one that didn't know? Or do I really know and y'all don't know? Which one is it? You know what I mean? Yeah, but one of them niggas that's in that reparation space that said they love me and said that and they admire me, and I really thought that was my friend, was a nigga that introduced me to that shit. And so, and then try to set me up, like when I started speaking out too much about how, like, with this contract shit, and how the people in that reparation space were trying to get me to sign contracts and all this weird ass shit. Then that person tried to fight me like I was crazy, and say, and make instead of reached out to me on the phone, emailing me, hey, you okay? I see you posting this stuff. Oh my gosh. Reaching out to me personally. You go on Twitter space, or you go on Twitter and say, oh, just pray. She's our people, but, we gotta just pray for it. And I'm like, did somebody send you out to type that? Because why, if you really care, why didn't you reach out? That's how I know. I'm like, oh yeah, you a setup queen. You a setup nigga. And then that person alludes to, oh, I'm not able to reach your friend, the same friend that they be trying to label me a certain manner, because they're afraid of the things that I can say and that I know. And I'm still not saying everything I motherfucking know. You think I don't? You think that the gods ain't give me the rundown on how this whole system is running? I just don't say shit. And so the thing is, because how do I say this? Certain people, you either have to just ignore them. Obviously, when people know too much, you either do what? You do one of three things. You're gonna kill their ass. You're gonna discredit them. You're gonna say they crazy, or you're just gonna ignore them. But what if you can't kill the person? What if you tried to kill him multiple times, and they keep ducking and dodging your assassination, or they keep ducking and dodging? What do you do then? What the fuck do you do? Okay, so you have to say they're crazy. You got to find a way to try to get them locked up, whatever. Ooh, we got to get them, make them, we got to set them up. Or you can try to, that you do with Huey P. Newton, try to give them drugs. Try to give them alcohol, drugs. They've done that to many Black Americans, by the way. What you think the crack epidemic was about, niggas? Wake up! And so, that's their step. That plan is unfoiling. So now the next one is just, we have to ignore it. Shadow man, ignore it. And that's honestly, that's the most peaceful resolution, because I ain't spray niggas like that. And the person that introduced me to the nigga that want to barter the souls of y'all niggas, you Black Americans, that want me to get y'all into, with the big wigs, the gatekeepers to get y'all niggas in contracts and shit. Yeah, I didn't name these people. I didn't come out and tell everything that I know and go out and say, shit that I really know. Especially because a lot of this stuff is spiritual. And the family, the bloodline I'm connected to, yeah, we were plummeting into poverty because one of the patriarchs in my family walked away from the devil, walked away from his position. I'm just keeping a buck. Walked away, and that plummeted my bloodline. But we are some of the most powerful. My bloodline is some of the most powerful occultists in the world. I'm pretty sure got some of them Africans over there that got some shit for your ass too, right? But my bloodline is naturally spiritual, but we're the bloodline of Jah, to be the bloodline of Judah. So we're some of the most powerful, the bloodline of Solomon, David. These are very, like, the hecka of those bloodlines are very powerful. So they've been, and the system, they go and get certain bloodlines from Africa, for Black America, for the Black Europeans, to kind of do the esoteric work to run it. Okay, so they do the esoteric work to run this stuff. And so I was pretty much a person that was supposed to be the one esoterically, because it goes beyond a level of just human consciousness. I'll just say that. I'm not even going to say nothing else. But you guys know how it goes. And so, they've been doing that in Africa, getting them powerful shamans in Africa, getting them powerful shamans in Black American society, root workers, even how the political system had got Marie Laveau to be doing a lot of that stuff. This is what so it's not like I'm saying nothing that you can't understand or can't fathom. Let's just be real. Let's not act like Marie Laveau wasn't doing a bunch of root work for the politicians. It's the same thing, is what I'm saying. And so, my family have been doing that for years, but not only just doing the esoteric work, but obviously I have connected to ancestry that actually runs this system. That to go back to the Roman Empire, literally Roman Emperor, all types of stuff. And this is not just me. This is many Black Americans. Many Black Americans, you guys know, just from our history, you either have, you have some of these bloodlines, the Black European Moorish bloodline, Sephardic Moorish bloodline, Indians, African, British. Let's just be real. We already know these things. So, it is what it is. And so, my bloodline, the patriarch, he said he supposedly walked away. He said he supposedly walked from it, and I believe it came with a price or whatever. But it plummeled us into into just the regular Black American, and that's fine, or what you would perceive. However, these people are still very, very powerful esoterically, and so that obviously is my bloodline that has come down to me, and I've loaded, but I have decided to use what I know, use what I can do, and use my power for the upliftment of consciousness, the upliftment of the evolution and ascension of my soul, but also to help humanity and to help this earth. and to help the cosmos in terms of we're shifting and ascending, and so that's my path. I'm not helping, lower the consciousness of the human race or lower the vibration of this planet. I don't want to participate. I don't want to lie to Black Americans and put you in psyops and act like, I want to tell the truth. I want to be a truth teller. I am a truth teller. Not that I want to be. I am a truth teller. And so I have no intentions on, using my gifts and power to suppress or to lie to people and to manipulate or to deceive anyone. It's not even in my nature. I don't understand that. I don't. I just understand, okay, I understand a white lie. I ain't gonna act like I never took lied out of, something, of course, because it's not about the perfection. It's not about, this highest good or whatever. It's about, for me, obviously, I believe in equanimity. I don't push that on people. I don't push, you gotta train. If you look at the Nike philosophy, I don't push that you gotta be at the transcendent level just because that's the level that I'm on. I push, you actually choose. You choose what state of consciousness you want to be on. Through all your life experiences, through all your self-reflection, through observing everything in all your chambers of your mind, you choose what kind of state of consciousness you want to be on. What actually do you want to manifest, or what do you not want to manifest? If you want to go to the level of asceticism, you can do that. If you want to go to the level of transcendence, where you go beyond perception and perception itself, non-perception itself, you go beyond the mind itself, then you can do that. But and that's the God level. But if that's not what you're interested in, or you want to start slower, you pick you choose. And so that's what the Nike philosophy is about. That heavily shadow banned material. I'm telling you, go get it now. The book is free. God told me to put the book out free. And so you guys pick it out. You guys go and download it. But yes, I can't stress enough how it's important to stay authentic to the self, to be self-aware. And I was reading something yesterday, and that resonated with me. That feeling like you ready to die about what you believe in. You ready to I'm prepared to do it. I'm not doing it. I'm choosing my own fate. I'm choosing my own destiny. I'm choosing my own reality to be a creator. Because as it says in the Bible, ye are gods, you are all sons of the Most High. You cannot be a child of God and not see yourself as a God. And so I don't want to be controlled. I don't want to listen to anybody. I don't want to, I obviously understand rules, understand logic, understand wisdom, but I'm not letting nobody motherfucking program me. No. And we go to war, and to me, it's like, do what y'all gotta do. If you feel like, okay, let's take her out. That my thing is, y'all want to talk about make a deal. Oh, you made the ultimate deal when you do that, because we already got it locked and loaded. Spiritually, that is. Spiritually. What happens? That's from the creator God. I know everybody likes to say, oh, you humans on the level where you compare gods and you guys are fighting witch wars and occult wars to see who's more powerful, and my God, I lied, my God, Buddha, my God, Oguna, my God, Yahweh, whatever these guys. And it's kind of sad how they mess the human race up like that, because it's like, you don't think that the creator God, there's this fathom is that there is a God that creates other gods, right? There is a God that creates other species, not just other gods, but other species, other extraterrestrial things. You're just the only humans and whatnot. They create the Aryans, the avians, it gets really galactic. The Andromedians, and thousands and thousands more. And from galaxy to, it goes deep. And then you obviously have the humans, and you have all these things, And so, at times when we talk about the powers that be, those are really the powers that be. We are really the powers that be, in terms of when this information needs to be sent to planet Earth. Let's get this out. So then you send the Buddha, you send the Bodhisattva. So then you send Prophet Muhammad. So then you send Yeshua. Go down there and give them this information, or go over there and give them this information. And the Creator God, we are in the team. We have councils. We have different types of things from different dimensions where it's like, you know what, planet Earth, and a lot of entities and species from different solar systems and galaxies don't give a fuck about planet Earth. They just think, okay, these people are unevolved. Hopefully they evolve, or they're going to take themselves out because universe removes low governing force. So if they're low governing force, they're going to either self-eradicate or they're going to ascend. It's one or the other. And it's how the ascend. And it's someone is like, no, they're actually being actively suppressed. And so let's help them. There's some species that say that. And so, you get a Yeshua, you get a Buddha, you get a Mahavira, you get a Guru Nanak, you get a Kita Kantha, you get a Thomas Sankara, and every once in a while. And so that's coming from a Creator God, though. And so when I hear of with the stuff that people try to actually do, they say, oh, we'll go get a law on her. We're gonna go get a law, pray against her because she's a demon or whatever they say about me. And I'm like, Allah loves me. Are you kidding me? You guys are going to get Allah, or let's go get Shiva. The Hindus are. She's this, because I'm telling you, like, this is from the top down, where it's like, okay, we have this person, and they're asserting themselves as this being, and so it's like, well, let's go use what we know to test that, or to take that out. And so, when you say you something, people gonna come after you, and I said what I said, and it's out there, and so I can I can feel when people are particularly it's not that I can feel, I can actually hear it. I can hear people like trying to play like little chants, or play like little things that remove what they call jinns or whatever, and I'm like, people actually think I'm possessed. But whatever. But I say this to say that these prayers that you guys are doing against me and stuff like that, or like particularly like praying to Allah to I guess cast me out or whatever. I'm like, Allah totally adores me. Most of these guys, because it's an egregore of interdimensionality. It's an egregore of an archetype of consciousness that stems from the Creator God. And so that's very high level shit. And I understand that it's hard for the average human to necessarily understand that, because there's so much brainwashing, and there's so much damage that has been done to humanity in terms of the age of Pisces with the age of religion, putting you under the spell, getting you to externalize your power, getting you to look outside of yourself, and not looking within. Even though every religion tells you to look within, the kingdom of God is within. Atman is Brahman, Brahman is Atman. It's like it's everywhere. The Buddha, this idea of Maya, the illusion, and getting back to the true self. You can go to every religion and it says pretty much the same thing. and so Atman is Brahman, Brahman is Atman is very important. We look at the Advaita Vedanta. You see what Jesus says, me and the Father are one. This is the same concept. It's literally the same concept. It takes some studying, and I understand that not everybody's at that level. And so you have to have patience. You have to have compassion, and I have that compassion. I have that. But the thing is, y'all don't have no compassion for me. And so, what am I to do? I have to still protect myself. I have to protect myself, and I have the right to. And so, that's what I'll say. That was a little esoteric, but in terms of that reparation space, the conscious community stuff and all that nonsense, that's why the conscious community fell apart. That shit fell apart when Young Pharaoh didn't do that debate. It was the Amon Ra squad out there with him and Seti. When that shit fell apart, that was when the conscious community was ended for what they were trying to barter his soul and get him into one of them devil contracts. Let's be real. And so now you see Brother Polite's tumble. You see all Toni Morrison tumble. You see all these tumbling. Tahuti, the one that got caught with the drugs and the heroin or whatever. You see all this nonsense around. Wake up. Wake your ass up. That is divine judgment. It's not. Those are not coincidences. Those are not coincidences at all. Those are of the times, and you're going to see more of that happen in the reparations space because God wants justice for Black Americans. God wants justice for every human. But when you go around and you set up a whole orchestrated fake movement where you're trying to trick people into really thinking they about to get something, but really it's a whole nother agenda, a whole nother ulterior motive, you have to answer for that. That's ancestral energy on your head now. Now you're dealing with ancestors. Now you got to deal with the ancestral power that wants that justice for their lineage. And now you got to deal with God's justice. You got to keep things pure. You got to try to. And if anything that's not pure is getting wiped out, you want to, I'm talking as a prophet now. That goes for any agenda, any movement. I'm telling you, if you don't keep the purity in that shit, and it's gonna just crumble. The energy can't sustain itself. It's kind of like quantum mechanics, but it's spiritual, but it's kind of quantum mechanics. It's resonance and electromagnetism. It's like you guys cannot occupy. You can't try to take something that's pure and then combine it with agenda, psyop, think tank, bureaucracy, and then those are two different vibrations. There's one of control, and then there's one that's want freedom. You can't take those and mix it together. You're going to repel. It's going to fall apart. Simple quantum mechanics. So that's what's going to happen. And for those who try to to sacrifice people to get something and all that stuff, and that's what you niggas was doing in the reparations space. Let's be real. Yeah, you got to answer for that. You ain't just walking away scotch-free. You ain't just walking away scotch-free. That's way bigger than anything you can imagine. That's bigger than that went up to the Godhead. That's how pissed off they was about that shit that y'all was doing over in that space and in those orders at the highest levels. Like that went up to straight to the like it got that bad. It got that bad where people. How do I say? It got that bad where the creator themselves, creator God, not the ones that the ones that y'all love in these religions. We talking about the head honcho had to come down here. That's how bad it got. And people, we have beautiful sisters, beautiful women that's been trying to tell you about the Great Mother's return, the age of the divine feminine. Had a Great Mother literally had to step down on this motherfucking dimension. That is ridiculous. That is how bad it got. And so, that's where we're at. And so now I want to start with the message to the Black man. You know how I do. I know how I go into a little tangent. It ain't nothing new. But let's get started on that. The message to the Black man is chapter 20 of the Queen Mothership. It was gonna fall on deaf ears. It's gonna go on one ear out the other, Black man. I'm asking you to answer. That's a rhetorical question, honey. I hope not. I hope you listen to something, because many of you feel like you can't listen to a woman. Oh, and that's gonna, Look, I'm doing this series on the divine feminine. If you look at the material of the Queen Mothership, many of you know, but if you guys really want to know some information about what's going to be happening in the future, you want to listen to that, because the age of the divine feminine is here. We're not getting out of it. I'm going to pause this because I got a feeling that this is not recording properly. Okay, so I'm back now. I had some concerns with the volume on the other recording platform I was using, so I kind of just wanted to pause everything to make sure that everything was coping steady in terms of the volume. And so I was actually talking about, we were getting into the Black Man series, chapter 20 of the Queen, not the Black Man series. We were getting into the Black Man chapter, which is chapter 20 of the Queen Mothership Enterprise Architecture. And before that, I gave you a little tangent about my reflections on the reparation space, as well as some esoteric things that have been going on with me in terms of, I talked to you about some of the things that were going on with my lineage, and my bloodline and whatnot. And for those who are following, I know it's not many, but it's like I know you guys know what the hell is going on, and I think that many of you are under like oaths to not say nothing, and so many of you know exactly what I'm talking about. And but nonetheless, I want to get into. I want to go into another tangent. I want to get into what we came to talk about. Message to Black men. And so, Black men, I was saying that it's very imperative right now that you galvanize around the women that have some wisdom, or even have because we're moving past knowledge, but for those who have intuition, knowledge, and wisdom, it could be a combination or one or the other. But for those that in the community that is saying something that is liberating, that's saying something that resonates with your soul, it's important to make sure you amplify those voices, because obviously you have psyop programs where they are creating homunculus. These are intelligence agencies doing it to bring out a certain version, because the powers that be know that it's the age of divine feminine. They also know of the stolen knowledge that they used, that was stolen from melanated people, in which the Black woman is a walking portal of fusion power, interdimensionality. The oracle, the Sybil, it's a lot of Sybil energy. It's the return of the ancient Sybil's, return of the ancient ones, ancient gods, male and female, from the melanated, from the from melanated people, and so their job is like, okay, we can't really deny that this energy is here. We can't really deny that we misinterpreted a lot of the information that we took from them. So what we can do is continue to run these psyops though, and have these niggas brainwashed. And so we'll bring out the Sukiana, we'll bring out the sexy reds, we'll bring out the Ladas, the whole lot of lottery, whatever these women. They would bring them out, have them crawling on the floor at MTV talking about booty hole pink and brown, and just complete debasement of the divine feminine. That's obviously that's purposefully done. This is the lowest it's ever been. And you're going to see a lot of people that have no talent, that have nothing, male and female, become very famous, become very rich, because they're going to be put deals to get access to their energy marker, get access to their soul, pretty much, because it's a scramble. It's a scramble because the system is changing so fast on everybody. That's why you see these strikes in Hollywood, strikes in UAW, strikes in, you see things kind of at a standstill in many ways. You see executives jumping off of buildings, of banks and stuff. You're going to see a lot of that because the Great Mother, God, the Creator God, has literally come down herself, has come down here. And not just, she brought a team with her. It's not just, she got the galactic family, but she also got other dimensional gods with her. So the Shivas, the Kalimas, the Allah, the Yeshuas, all of that energy is here on this planet. Oh, it's going to get real. And so there's a scramble, like, how do we keep this system of the deal system, the contract system? So it's about that. It's like they're gonna be scrambling for. You're gonna see a lot of poor, ghetto, Black people become rich and famous with zero talent, like a sexy red. You're gonna be like, how did that happen? How did that happen? And these people are way over their head, and they in the projects eating, damn ramen noodle. And so it's like, you get them, and don't think I'm coming. I've been in the projects, grew up when I was younger. I've been in the hood, So don't try to say, oh, you try to come at our people like that. No, been there, done that. I'm not judging. But they're going to exploit that type, the ones that's vulnerable, and they say, well, we'll give you this, and because they want to tap into those energy markers. So Sexy Red, she probably ain't do no goddamn genealogy. Don't probably know who she's connected to, but I'm pretty sure it's something powerful. Sukiana, and I'm gonna tell you this, I'm a priestess. I can see shit. Most of you know, like, okay, that motherfucker really psychic. She's really powerful, spiritually. Some of you know that already. Sukiana, I have no doubt in my mind, She has a lot of Sybil energy. And to be honest, our team of the Sybils, of the Black Divine Feminine, we took a hit when she sold out, when she went the way she went. That was hard on a lot of us, believe it or not. We're talking etherically now. We're talking spiritually now, because she was one of the ones that also came down here to give a message. And she knows stuff, and she's very powerful spiritually. And so we took a hit when she went that route. Like seeing her on MTV floor and seeing her, sucking dick on camera, throwing up on camera and sucking dick and all that. Yeah, you got a right to do whatever you want or whatever, but come on, sis, like really. And we've got a lot of Sybil energy, the high priestess energy, and we're like, girl, no, that good and hell well, but this is what they do, and this is what they're going to do to many of Black Americans and Africans. They're going to try to exploit the most vulnerable amongst us in terms of those that buy into the matrix, in terms of the money system. And you don't got no money, and they come and they already did your genealogy, got your gematria, got your natal chart, they got Sukiana's natal chart and all that stuff, and then they come to you and then try to reverse your birthright, through, well, we give you money, you're gonna do this music, you're gonna sing about some stupid shit, talking about sucking dick and eating ass and all that, and this is what you're gonna do. And you ain't gonna be able to uplift your community and talk about, the stuff that's really inside of your etheric genetic marker, epigenetics. And so I'm gonna give a message as a prophet. That stuff that Sukiana pulling, that was hard on us from the Sybil ancient order, the ancient order of Kali Ma, the ancient order of Tahuti, the ancient orders in the galactic realm and the heavenly realms. Seeing that was hard on us, because she was definitely one of the ones that's like us, pretty much. We're like, what are you doing? And so same with Cardi B, believe it or not. Cardi B as well. But it happens, and again, there's no judgment on any of this. It's not like, oh my gosh, what are you, it's not that type of thing, because we understand the predicament our people are in. So you can't judge people's story, right? Like you don't know what somebody, you just don't know, so you can't judge. And so think I'm doing that. I'm just more so like, damn, we lost another one. And that's all I have to say about that. And so Black Americans, I want you to keep your head on a swivel in terms of being very aware of programming and understanding to understand that vulnerability, and to avoid it if it comes to you. If you're one of the ones that feel like, okay, all I got to do is this and I get this. Like, be careful with that. Be very, very careful. That goes for Black men, because a lot of our people is messed up behind that stuff in the first place. I'm gonna keep it real. Behind that occult shit, behind making these deals, behind selling out bloodlines. That's the reason why Black Americans and Africans is fucked up in the game, and the Caribbeans. I'm gonna just keep it a buck, and I know the people who did it. I know the people who sold out the African bloodlines and the Black American bloodlines, the Black Europeans who did it. Very much so. Because, again, as a high priestess, I get downloads. And I know exactly who did it. And unfortunately, I know exactly how it happened, man. And who did it. And they regretful of it, but they had no problem doing it. They sold out African tribes, the Black American tribes, the Black European. They just didn't give a shit. Whatever it was to get that access to that power. And then all of a sudden you realize you get all that power and you're like, damn, this shit wasn't even worth it. But then when they ask you to give up your baby daughters, when they ask you to give up, now you want to walk away. And it's like, oh, no, you made a deal. And so this shit is deep, man. It's very deep, Black Americans. And, they say the sins of the father fall on the child. Not over motherfucking here. Not over here. Okay? Because God got me. You know how Kanye West was in that video when he was like, God loves me. And he sounded all kind of delirious, but he was that conviction. He was very convicted when he said it. God love me. God love me. When he was saying it like that, that's how I be feeling. I wake up saying that every day, just like how he said that shit. He was like, you can't control me, and he was going all off in that video. They can control this, they can control that, and like, not me. God love me. That's my vibe. That's my mood. That's my mood every day. God love me. And so and that's what I know, and so whatever people may, they don't understand, because my level is the level that I'm talking about, the intergalactic mentalism, quantum entanglement. I mean, the people at the top know all about that. Like the people that's running this shit, they know, um we call them people, they're not even people. But yeah, they know, and so they're like, oh shit, that lady know what the fuck she's talking about. But like the average niggas, or these average, the boules, or the gatekeepers, or the people in these orders that's in these compartmentalized orders that don't know the highest levels of knowledge, they're the ones that like, she's the enemy, she's the demon, she's the, they don't know shit. So it's like they're coming after me, because they're not privy to what this is all about. And so there have you. So let's get it to black men. Let me wrap this shit up. I did not mean to make this long. Okay, so I'm just going to read to you the chapter, and then we'll talk about it. Black men must take a stand and be willing to empower themselves to the reins of power. This can be achieved through self-determination, self-defense. You must defend yourself, black man. And involvement in alternative economies beyond capitalism. See, this is the shit that got me on a fucking watch list. Okay? To manifest power, black men must build their own system utilizing egalitarian methods inherited from their matriarchal and diarchal ancestors. That's where you're going to get that power from. It says it in all of your books. When we talk about even, the story of Heka in Egypt and Nyama in West Africa, where they talk about, even on the Egyptian walls, I can prove this to you, where they talk about the men gaining access through the divine feminine, through the women, through even through the sexual knowledge, and through their forgot how the story go. But I'll get that information. Matter of fact, I think it's so important. I'm gonna pull that shit up right now, because I have the book, with article rather. It's a scholarly article. It's written by black folk, by the way, but it talks about the occult understanding of African concepts of Heka and Nyama, Nyama. Very, very deep knowledge. But it talks about, obviously the primordial force of breath and spirit, but also primordial substance, the primordial su. And they misinterpret that shit. That's why I'm like, oh my gosh. But they were talking about how on the Egyptian walls, how, because this is all connected to frequency and resonance, how it was only women that was playing this particular instrument. And, the Westerners switched it around and put men, it's literally on the hieroglyphics, but they switched it around and just made men, and so it talks about that. And it's a very deep chapter. And if I can't read it to you on here, I will at least give you, matter of fact, I will at least give you the name of the title of the work. Okay. And it's very important, because that is where you're going to get your power from. The powers that be actually knows this, and they keep this information from you, so that you'll keep running around in a circle, pretty much running like chickens with your heads cut off, talking about George Floyd, and every couple of months they're killing some black men or something. And it's like, you have that self-determination, self-defense. I'm not saying go out here on a dummy mission, but you're going to have to fight this from a different dimension, is what I'm saying. You're going to have to get that power from within, and it can't come from taking from the black woman, or sacrificing a black woman, killing black, or whatever. No, it's going to come from understanding that laws of electromagnetism. You're going to be able to tap into the divine feminine and take control, not take control, but get access to certain realms and certain dimensions, and be able to tap into that inner power, because that you have to fight this through the mental. And that's all I'll say. So that book is actually, that article rather, is actually called Nyama and Heka, African Concepts of the Word. It's by Christopher Wise, and he published this through Western Washington University, Western Cedar. And so let me go to page 11. Let's see. It was very deep. It was very, very deep. Very deep. Okay. Okay, so here we go. I think I found it. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So it says Egyptian loot was okay. So Wolof, Fubi, Hodai, Saniki, Sankei, Chari, for instance, argues that the linguistic evidence is sketchy, emphasizing that the Egyptian lute was played by women, not men. It is true that Egyptian images of the lute depict women rather than men playing this instrument, but the performer's gender is either irrelevant or secondary to the question of Heka. That's actually not true. That's a misinterpretation. In numerous images of the Egyptian goddess Hathor, she is shown bestowing a pearl necklace called a manet upon her lover. The manet is not only an ornament worn around the neck, but is a musical instrument that inaugurates the resurrection of the dead. Isis similarly brings Osiris from the dead through her healing sexual powers, the sistrum or sishahet, which is like a rattle or guard, serves a similar function to transmit vital energy to her lover that is necessary to his spiritual rebirth. Hathor, mistress of the Menat, the female element that puts into motion the intrinsic forces of all manifestations of the divine. See? Cherry is correct that only women are depicted playing the lute in ancient Egypt, but it is likely that the images merely signify that. See, they're going into that. I'm not even going to read that part. And so, this is related to the concept of Heka: resonance, frequency, breath, air. And so when we talk about the primordial substance that gives rise to resonance, that gives rise to electromagnetism, that's what we're talking about, black men, and that is what you're going to have to tap into. Good black men tap into the interdimensional sense of things, so that you're going to have to do this through 10th, 12th, 20th, and beyond dimension. And so you do that by buying out of the system. Stop participating in it. Stop selling out. Stop getting involved with that stuff. And tap into your epigenetics and your ancestral energy before slavery, before everything that happened to us as a people. And so I just read that. You guys check that out. That's for those that's really in the know. But if you guys even want the article, whoever wants it, if you can't find it, you get at me. I'll get it to you. Okay. So let's continue. Through the process of understanding and embodying traditional values, black men will access tools to succeed in individual and collective endeavors. Furthermore, the Queen Mothership encourages an empowering approach by advocating for change within existing systems of oppression and building adjacent self-determined microcities by engaging with elements of Black American culture that celebrate community, reciprocity, and collective decision-making processes. More equitable systems can be established and maintain. The strategies of self-determination, self-defense, and alternative economies enable black men to manifest a new level of power that would provide the resources they need to achieve their goals and fulfill their highest potential. Masculinity and manhood are to be honored in the Queen Mothership. As long as black men do everything they can gain power and protect, and they can to protect. And let me read that again. As long as black men do everything they can to gain power and protect black women and children, they will be loved in the Queen Mothership. By embracing the ancient Queen Mothership teachings through practice, black men can create an environment of understanding and respect. By engaging in this process, black men can help shape a more just world where no one is left behind. When it comes to the Queen Mothership, black men will need to answer the question of whether they would rather live under another man's system, where they have to answer to another man, or rule in the Queen Mothership with their women and children empowered. The answer lies with each individual's ability to take power into their own hands and manifest a more equitable future. Thus, it is essential for black men to embrace the pre-colonial historical teachings and values that promote collective advancement alongside self-actualization. Through this process, black men can create a better future for themselves and their families. Only then can such a prosperous world exist, where everyone is empowered equally. In turn, this can bring about much needed change from within society as we all strive towards true liberation. So that's very important. And I asked this to black men, so we'd rather live under a system of white supremacy or, rule in the Queen Mothership. And they said neither. And it's like, okay, I guess we'll wait to see you build your own system in, I guess. And these are creatures that always knew the laws of electromagnetism, laws of resonance, the laws of the primordial. That's concept of Naima and Heka. Naima is West African. If you run a parallel between the Egyptian construct of Heka and the Mandi, also Songhai, and I want to say it got into Soniki. And West Africa, y'all like to play West Africa like they don't know shit, like they never knew nothing. Exact same, very high level concepts, systems that's running the world. They got a lot of the Naima priests helping them at the highest levels. Wake up. And so it's not like y'all never knew this shit. Y'all, this is right in front of us. These are African concepts. And I'm telling you that resonance gives rise to primordial chaos, primordial goddess, primordial soup, primordial substance, primordial darkness gives rise to resonance. Resonance is a combination of Heka and Naima, breath, spirit, resonance, sound, frequency, words, right? Then gives rise to your electromagnetism. Then gives rise to your strong nuclear force, weak nuclear force, and gravity. It's very deep shit. Very deep. And so Black American men, I'll say this, melanated people are at the lowest they have ever been. The lowest they have ever been. This is not natural to us. It's just not natural. You go from building pyramids through levitation and sound frequency, not all over the world, by the way, through understanding advanced forms of science and medicine and whatnot, and constructing whole nuclear plants, thousands and thousands of years ago, to where we find ourselves at today. It's not normal. And I'm telling you that I know the people that sold these bloodlines out. The entities, rather. Now, they were human, but now they're entities now. Because they ascended through through the left hand. And so, this is all on you. I gave you a big message. I hope you listen to it, that you have to fight this from a different dimension. Where do you go to gain that power? You go within. Remember, the kingdom of God is within, but then also you tap into that divine feminine. Don't abuse the divine feminine, but tap into it really and honor that divine feminine. And you're going to see big changes. And you could go to Egypt, West Africa, America, where they always had the Queen Mothers. We talk about Sekhmet, Sebek, Selket, Hathor, Set. When you talk about these, do you know that the pharaohs, these were like the mothers to the pharaohs, and they took it very, very serious. Oh, mother goddess, mother primordial mothers, divine feminine, Sekhmet, and all these things. They took that very, very serious. You study it. Go and study it, how these pharaohs were, how they had them lined up. They used them for their rulership. Not use them, but they accessed that realm for that rulership as pharaohs. It was very, very serious. And they do this through out West Africa, but in West Africa they had literal queen mothers, literal in the flesh, but where in Egypt it was more so like goddesses. And so it's very serious. It's all on you. It's just a suggestion. And so I want to read one last thing to you out of, and you guys are probably like, okay, you're going from this to the Bible, really? Again, I'm a very advanced, very, very advanced thinker. I can draw connections to all this stuff, and many of you can too. So that's not saying I'm unique in essence. I'm very unique, very gifted, but I will not say that I'm the only person that can see the connections between all of these religions and all of these pantheons and all of these mythologies and even the scientific analogies beyond these mythologies. So, some of us can see that. And so, yep, we're going right into the Bible. And we're going to be reading out of Proverbs chapter 25. And now we know that's one of Solomon. That's actually one of my ancestors. And we're going into advice for kings. Now, this is not for every for every black man. But the ones who following what I'm saying, the ones like, okay, understand what sis is saying. She got my ears. Let me see what she got to say. Then that's you. The ones that say, no, she don't know what she talking about, or she blasphemous, or she this, da, 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 da. It's not for you, honey. But this is why we're saying advice for kings. So that's chapter 25. Okay, so it says, these are the Proverbs of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah, king of Judah, copied out. It is the glory of God to conceal a thing, but the honor of kings is to search out a matter. The heaven for height and the earth for depth, and the heart of kings is unsearchable. Take away the dross from the silver, and there shall come forth a vessel for the finer. Take away the wicked from before the king, and his throne should be established in righteousness. So black men, you know what that means. And you know what that means. You can't be involved in this wickedness. And we remember when Homeboy used to tell us about, you always talk about like these white devils, or the white man and devil, but we never talk about the black devil. And so you want to situate your kingdoms and situate the things you are building based on righteousness, right? And you want to be able to search your heart and understand that it is the heaven for height and the earth for depth. Okay? As above, so below. Okay, let's see this one. It is better to dwell in a corner of the housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house. Okay, that's deep. As cold waters to a thirsty soul, so is good news from a far country. Build alliances, black men, with one another from abroad. Build alliances. He that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. Black men, is very, very important. Make sure you rule over your own spirit. Make sure you cling to it like precious fine rubies. Okay? You rule over your spirit. And I actually want to leave it at that. We skipped in that chapter, Proverbs 25, we did skip around. But you guys get it. You guys should be able to get it. And so that's what I have for you. This was pretty long. It was in depth. But that's what I wanted to say to you. And so until next time, we'll talk again. The next series is going to be on the divine feminine. And that's what we'll be talking about. So it's more for the black woman. You're more than welcome to tune in, but it is going to be for the black woman. We're doing the divine feminine series, and we may get into some. I want you guys to also check out Not the Church of the Higher Self. That's where I'll be getting into some deeper topics, spirituality. We'll be breaking down some really serious stuff over there. So check that out. It's a new channel. I haven't really put much on there. It's duplicate content from the Not the Queen Mothership series, but we are going to be getting into very specific topics that are not going to be on this YouTube channel. So go over there. We may even have to put that on Rumble, because we going deep the deeper the deep this, right? So you guys check Not the Church of the Higher Self. That's for anybody who comes across this video. And stay tuned. We're going to be going into the divine feminine. I do have some other series I wanted to get into, but for now, that's the next one. I really want to I want to give some energy back to black women. I want to give some energy to the black woman, and have some talk with her, lift her up, lift myself up, obviously, because this is all reflexive work. It's reflexive. So that means that though it may seem like, you're worried about this, or you're worried about other people, worry about yourself. Everything I do is not so much for self-aggrandizement, but it is a reflexive aspect of what's inside of me, and what things I want to work on, what things I aspire. And so that's what all of my work is about. The Not the Queen Mothership, Knocking Self-Redox for Black Women, the Law of Gender, the Alchemy Reservoir of Black Americans, all that stuff helps me. It's designed to help you as well. But it has certainly helped me on my path. And that's what I want to leave you with today. We will speak again soon, and love you. Be good.